think the fact of the matter is that I'm a little slow on the uptick today because of almost a full week of hanging with the family. And my brother and I, anytime we're together, drink way too much.
Does that make for some good conversation at the table?
Oh, absolutely. I just feel like I've been run over by a truck. And we went out and sang karaoke last night like a bunch of heathens.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your go-to?
What did I sing last night?
Please be Katy Perry. Please be
No,
Katy Perry.
I don't do any
Cheers.
Katy Perry.
We got that on the Elk trip.
That's not anyone's business.
I forgot what.
It went on Instagram.
But it was a
video.
disappearing story, I think, wasn't it? Me singing Katy Perry on the Elk trip drive.
Yeah, it was disappearing.
It was 13 hours each way. Shit got weird.
Shit got weird for sure. This was on the last podcast, but you guys cooked meth.
Basically made meth. Apparently, if you take like 4 Benadryl and drink 32 ounces of Monster, basically meth.
Meth, yeah.
According to Jordan's wife, and
Dude, he got some stuff done though, dude.
we got some driving done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thought his eyes were gonna bug out of the windshield and stuff. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
We're good. Who said it was bad?
Exactly. It was the best, worst experience I've ever had. Yeah, so
At least top 5.
we are sitting here with Brandon Alberts, who killed a big, giant deer on camera. Killed a big, giant white-tailed deer on public land.
Sure did. Yes, sir.
Somewhere in the United States. That's all we can release.
Lower 48.
The lower 48. Oh, we're getting specific now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was quite an experience. It's, about 2.5 hours from my house. So it was, get up from, school, which is about 4 hours away, actually. I consider my house Dallas since I come up here so often. But San Marcos to Dallas, and Dallas, even further north. And, just getting a hotel, one of those nice two-star $38 a night motels, and getting up
Vacancies.
dog tired the next morning. And that's when it did happen, was the very next day after I got there. Did about a 6.5 hour drive that night, and then that next evening I was tagged out.
Oh, wow. So just tell us a little bit about, I guess from the start of just, obviously not this specific spot, but
Sure.
where did you kind of come up with, do you have some history of hunting in that area? And how did you kind of find the spot that you decided to set up in and ultimately?
Sure. Yeah. We had some family land from 2007 to 2014 there in the southeastern part of Oklahoma. And so I was pretty familiar with that area and the terrain. And so definitely always just had my heart up there, which everyone knows, there's better places to hunt. But definitely whenever, you can pick apart a place, the most effective is probably the best place to be anyway. So there I'm going to school kind of in the central part of Texas here, and did a little bit of public land hunting for several years there and at the LBJ grasslands there in Decatur. So I had a little bit of experience going into it, and this parcel of land is several, tens of thousands of acres. So it came to access points for sure, and using water specifically for this spot was definitely a way of getting away from pressure, I felt like.
Water is one of those things that's just, at least on public land that I've gone, that's probably your best asset, of getting away from people and getting into areas that other people would not have otherwise been in. So
Absolutely.
So you took some water into the back portion of this, and
Yeah, it was also myself just being somewhat lazy. I definitely wanted to find myself a place that wasn't so hard to walk. So sometimes they have those they burn, I don't know, to keep property from burning, what a burn break.
Okay.
It's the fence line typically has about 10 or 15, 20 feet of just cleared area that is just easy to walk. And that's kind of how this place, at least this parcel of that piece of public land set up for, was so I could get back in, if I wanted to, I could walk 2 miles on this fence row. And I figured that out by going in there in March and shed hunting it and just finding out that that's the way that the land's set up, which you probably couldn't have figured that out looking at Google Earth.
There is some value to boots on the ground, that's for sure.
Definitely.
We found that out. So you just set up a tree stand and then
got
the job done, huh?
Yeah, I went there in March, and I did shed hunt, and actually this buck that I ended up killing out there did shed his antler in an area that I was already familiar with on Google Earth, doing a lot of scouting in, so I was happy to see that. And so whenever I set up these tree stands, it was kind of in, I do plot where I find the sheds on Google Earth, and so I'll go ahead and kind of make a nice little plot as to just the general radius of where these sheds are mostly falling. And then in September, when I went to go set up a tree stand, or at least to find a site for a tree stand, I did find another shed close by, which that pretty much solidified right there. Is like, this is bedding, this is cover, this is where they're comfortable. So I actually ended up setting up one tree stand in a spot overlooking a small ravine, which kind of had a lot of deadfall in it, so it really funneled deer around it real well. And whenever I had set up there, man, I don't even know where I was going with that. And I'm just straight up.
No, it
like
happens.
Get lost in a story.
So just kind of filtered your way into to an area and just kind of found some spots.
Yeah, the sheds kind of led me there, and so I had set up originally. What I was going to say was set up in an observation stand the very first days. Like whenever I went in there in September, really found my tree, I set up in an observation stand where I could then kind of back and forth play, where these deer were actually going to come in, because it was a real random tree, I thought.
Yeah.
And so, but about 80 yards away, it was where I ended up finding most of the deer were certainly funneling for the most part. So I ended up moving my tree stand over there. Weirdly enough, though, that's not where that deer was killed, because I went in there on the morning of November the 9th. As we were discussing, that was my first day making the drive on the 8th, hunting on the morning of the 9th, and this spot actually ended up producing a little activity, someone stealing a trail cam off a tree, which happens, and and so, just kind of don't outsmart your common sense, just realizing that there wasn't good deer activity on November the 9th whenever you would expect there to be good deer activity. And just saying, you know what, I have a spot that also has a camera on it, not as interested in it, but certainly, a viable place to go hunt. And on that camera was a bruiser, 12 point, I think probably scoring mid 150s. So I went back to the motel, got a nap that night, and ended up coming back that evening and setting up. And it was a random tree. It was, not even limbs weren't cleared off of it, so I was clanking tree stand around and I climbed up in that tree, and that's where it kind of happened. Once again, just as people just pound home, it's the fact that it's a brand new set, never been hunted for the whole season, so no scent, no disturbances.
Everything's fresh, Yeah, there's some value to that. We've moved some stands around because of our trail cameras. We thankfully haven't dealt with one getting stolen yet, but just humans after human after human after human. When you're checking trail cameras, you're like, oh, great.
And that spot was a 1.25 mile walk in there, and I thought I was doing pretty well on getting away from people, but it's never 100%.
No, I think that's the thing. You always find out is you're like, okay, I walked 4 miles back in here and set up a camera, and oh wait, there's humans on this all the time.
Private landowners too. Whenever they back up to it,
exactly. I mean,
it's easy for them.
It's all entry points, and I mean, owning private land that bumps up to public could be kind of neat.
Yeah, that's the way to go. I'll look for some property, and that's the main thing. Where is public land close to that private land?
Exactly. I just the public land thing for me has just become such an addiction, just because of the chase and the just the fact that it's so difficult, and it tests you as a hunter, and it just improves my skills. I feel like every time I go out, I learn something new, and that's kind of what people I've always just questioned, like, how do you just deal with going out there and not seeing anything, and you go out there, and this hunting in general, but still I think more, I go out on my place I private land hunt, and I maybe not kill something every time I go out, but I typically see something every time I go out.
Sure.
So it's, at least you're getting that, but to me it's just the thrill of it all that
definitely
gets me going. So
now you get to look at new landscape. If you get tired of one spot, you tired of looking at the same exact trees, it's like, well, I'm going to go paddle down the river maybe. If you can go walk a completely different spot, different access points, and every place hunts different. Doesn't matter if it's a mile down the road. It's the way the terrain works deer around, affects wind. It's all a chess match. So
yeah,
definitely,
absolutely.
Well, and hearing you talk about wind, so what kind of guy are you in hunting? Are you a scent free guy, wear all the fancy clothes, spray down stuff, or are you a wind only guy?
Yeah, no, I definitely believe in scent control. Absolutely, the waking up before the hunt, doing the scent free shower. Maybe spraying some all season doe pee on the boots before you get in that spot, just to get rid of any ground scent, because that certainly is something I've dealt with this year. Was whenever I lacked doing that, was bucks walking right where I walked and then just immediately locked up and just turn right back around, and that's a real quick way to get rid of a spot. But I definitely I play the wind if I can. Unfortunately, the way that it works is, if you get limited time to hunt in your public land spots, like as far away as it is, like for me, then it's like I got to go in there and try.
Exactly.
Sometimes you just risk it, but in this case, definitely the wind that we were getting, like a real light. I guess it was an east wind that day that I shot that deer, and it was just another one of those, like, well, I got to get in here and hunt it. Like, I'm not gonna not hunt. And just about any place, the way that it sets up, that fire break walks north, and all the woods are to the east.
Okay.
Or sorry, to the west. So an east wind just kicks all of it. A lot of private land to the east, all the public land on the west. So if you have an east wind, it just kicks it all in there.
Yeah.
So it was super light, but I think by around the time that buck came in, which was right around 5:30, was sunset for November the 9th. That's whenever the wind, I think, died down just enough where I think that it just was a non-factor at that point.
Yeah, it's I just the wind is the fascinating thing to me, is just how it either hurts you or helps you or doesn't matter sometimes. It's just such a ebb and flow.
Certainly.
Well, it's hard to get that wind too, because the wind will do all that weird stuff. Like you'll be up in a tree stand and you'll throw out some smoke and it'll breeze down, then go completely opposite way of what you think it should be.
Definitely.
So once you get up in there, I mean, you really never know what that wind's going to do.
Certainly.
Changes and swirls around. So how did you get into hunting? Like, tell us a little bit about your backstory as far as like what's your whole history with hunting?
So yeah, my family is not a hunting family. They're originally, like, my dad's parents are from Kansas, and they do a lot of farming up there, and so that's kind of his background growing up. But whenever he got out of the military, he was dead set on being a businessman, so that's his background. And as such, not one to get in the outdoors on his own. So I don't really know what the exact reason why I wanted to pick up a bow so bad, starting around 2007, which put me in around 7th grade. But I was certainly dead set on starting that part of my life and getting into the outdoors. And fortunately, we found some land in really northern Oklahoma, almost on the Kansas border, that was almost just for mineral rights. We bought it for, and it ended up turning into a deer hunting property. And then we liked the deer hunting so much up there that we were like, well, we need to get something closer to home. So we started south in Oklahoma, and from there it just kind of turned into, an absolute obsession.
A full-blown obsession, yeah. We understand that. That's cool.
Definitely.
And just getting you into public land, what was that? More opportunity to hunt?
Yeah, it was more of necessity since we got rid of this ranch in 2014. And I went to school in the central part of Texas here, so it was going to be at least a 7-hour drive plus to get to this spot of private land that we had. So we ended up selling that off, and I think I pretty much just took 2014 off from hunting. Yeah. It was kind of like my first time just twiddling my fingers, not being proactive about where I wanted to go, and I just kind of let the freshman year of college take over, and then decided that I was going to start hunting a little bit of public land there, which is not real close, still about an hour and a half away from my university, but it definitely, like you were saying earlier, heightens your senses, and your hunting abilities are like, tenfold from where I would have been on if I kept doing private land, maybe just like hand corn thrown hunts kind of stuff, and really like permanent setups, which I don't believe in so much now anymore, now that I've hunted public land a little bit.
Yeah, there's something to me, even on my private, that's what I've gotten to, where I move around with my stand, and I think that's having the ability to kind of be on the move allows you to play the wind and to get in front of them or get a different view or get a different place where you may be not able to see deer from your stand that's been there for 4 years, 5
Certainly.
years. So.
Definitely. And that ranch that we had, and a big part of us selling it off was because of a neighbor that had moved in on one of the spots near the property that was really a hot spot, just historically produced some 172. My dad shot with a muzzleloader. I mean, multiple 150s, 160s throughout some of the years that we had there. And, of course, you get someone that comes in there and likes blowing up tannerite, every other day and just letting his blue healers run around all over the God's green earth, which put a big dampener on the hunting for some of that area. So
that's no good. Yeah, people are, I guess that's part of the same thing you deal with in public as private people doing what they want to do on the private land and not being conducive to the hunting. So, So talk to us also about just what are some of the tactics that you like to use on public land? Obviously, probably Google Earth to spot out some places. But,
absolutely.
What would your process be when you looked at a place? You decided throw the dart against the map and you pick a piece of public land. Like, what's step one of trying to work that piece of property?
Definitely, yeah. So, I don't mind certainly talking about my times whenever I was going to the grasslands in Decatur, which is a lot of small parcels. And I definitely, looking at that, and just about any piece of public land I look at, access points is a big one. If there's a lot of county roads that border it, and it's not a real big piece already as it is, then you can pretty much guarantee that there's going to be guys that want to park on the side, jump the fence, and come in, even if it's not a necessarily designated parking area. That certainly happens, but even those designated parking areas I take into account as well. And then it really just goes in, because a piece of public land can be small, but if it sets up nicely where there's a lot of, like we've talked about, water and obstruction, real thick, like Yopon for like East Texas, if people really have to traverse through some of that, and most people don't want to, then that's a big part of what plays into where I like to hunt, because I definitely am of the belief that you got to get away from everyone if you can.
That's kind of like the wind thing. It's like, so you have so many people and different theories of like, either the wind matters or it doesn't. And then you also have the people who are like, you got to get away from everybody. And then there's the guy who will go 5 yards past the parking lot and set up. And
sometimes they make it work too.
You see success both ways.
There's a whole bunch of luck involved, but I mean, I can always agree with getting away from everybody. Like, no question.
There's no doubt. I mean,
I just don't like people.
Yeah. Cameron and I were hunting public land the other day, and we're sitting on our stand. We were like, this is perfect. It's thick. This is like, off the beaten path. Cameron's like, look, here comes somebody.
Oh, man.
Dude in blue jeans, and his wife had white jeans on, just walking through the woods. I mean, they were creeping through, and they weren't. But still, Did
they have bows or anything with them?
Had a crossbow. Yeah.
So they were, quote, hunting.
They were hunting. But the thing is, I guess I don't know what he had one climbing stand, and it was just kind of like, what? You have two people.
Yeah. Like, what's the plan?
Either you already have a stand out here, and you're just bringing another one out there, which was the overall theory of what we kind of put together. But still just like, there's not another pair of pants you can wear besides
like
anything else, like besides blue jeans, the worst thing you can wear in the field.
Exactly.
And I mean, the white jeans, at least maybe that blended in even better. That may have been even smarter than the blue jeans, but still, that's part of it. But then,
Definitely.
like I said, we're like convinced that we were deep and far enough away from everybody, like almost 2 miles back.
Wow.
Here they come. And it's just, it is what it is,
Definitely. Yeah, it's, definitely some places set up real well for using human pressure to your advantage in that, that Somerville public hunting area that I was at definitely had one of the southern portion sets up where there's a county road on either side, but it's real elongated, like a big rectangle.
Okay.
And so on either side of that rectangle, there's a county road, and you can assume that people are going to park on that county road and walk in because it's the only legal access. So if you can get right in the middle and you can set till about, 11 a.m. if you can stand it.
Yeah.
Especially in that part of the state, it gets pretty warm, but
the thermocell is a must.
Oh my gosh.
Game changer.
Game changer.
Even this early season duck hunting.
Oh, I've had it out both times we've gone, Just I guess the second time was okay because the wind was blowing 90 miles an hour. But Yeah, so getting away from people is the, and
Mm-hmm.
sitting. I think that's the biggest thing too. Is like you said, using people's movement to your advantage of
Yeah.
getting out there either really early and having them push deer to you, or staying late and having them get down at 9 o'clock and push them to you then. So
Definitely. It never surprises me how many people decide to walk in at 8:30 to start hunting.
Oh, duck hunting is the worst.
I
Because
just
shooting lights 6:30. So when we get out, we all meet at 4:30.
Mhm.
But we got some work to do, pre.
yeah.
You have guys walking in with their kid at 6:15, and then trying to like stomping past you and trying to set up right across from you. Like, somebody's gonna get shot today.
Yeah,
Someone's gonna get shot.
This is what's gonna happen. Some kid is gonna shoot right over the top of the water and pepper one of us.
Yeah.
This year out there, though, I mean, it's been pretty nice. Like, we haven't had that much traffic.
We've
in
only
our
seen
spot.
two other sets of people.
I mean, yeah, and they were.
I guess
No
'cause
one
it's-
was near us.
It's been so warm,
I think that's.
and we're
probably
going
what
way
it is.
back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been shitty.
Yeah, the
Walking
first
in
time we went
grass
out, it
that
was
is-
like a 10-mile hike, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we did 2 laps around the tank in the beginning.
We got turned around, and we had
These are some of our spots
There
from
was-
last year.
there was a mini breakdown of all of your GPSs are wrong. We're not here, and that was kind of funny. And then we were like,
no
we
way.
are. There's no way.
No way.
No way. Oh wait.
All right,
Yeah,
fine.
We walked for a solid 30 minutes and then looked at our GPS and we'd walked a big giant circle. And we're back to like 20 yards from our trucks.
Yeah.
Oh my
Because it was,
gosh.
I'd been out there once prior to season, like, oh yeah, everything's fine. No big deal. This is where we duck hunt.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I didn't go very far out.
Plus, we also just kind of trying to like
Oh yeah. this
cut
is-
across. We were trying to take a shortcut instead of the way that we knew we should have taken. And
Yeah. No, we weren't watching our GPS.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we got to be going main water this way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is cool. It was not cool.
Was it? Had y'all gone in there before? Or is this a
Oh
blind?
yeah, I'd hunted there for a couple of years.
Sure.
But
Oh,
and
man.
it grows up. I mean, there's some brush that's 6 foot tall now.
Yeah.
And the last couple of years, it's not been like that.
Yeah, it's actually been miserable this year
It's
for,
pretty rough
for the
this year.
brush and getting in there. And that's probably what's held a bunch of people off, too.
Yeah, I get
which is
little,
fine.
Yeah.
little ways back where you
Yeah.
go and it looks like you're walking through a wall.
Yeah.
Like my dog
Wow.
wouldn't come through it at first.
My
He's like, I
gosh.
don't know about this,
No.
guys. I'm like,
No.
You guys are idiots.
Yeah.
When I go back
Yeah.
to the
What are
truck.
you doing exactly?
Yeah, exactly. Why are you doing this to me?
But I think we plotted. We got our path plotted.
Yeah.
On Onyx this
The
time,
easy,
right?
Yeah.
the easy way in and
Okay.
out.
Good. I need to get that old iPhone up and running.
Yeah. Jordan had the best idea. Is just I put my phone in airplane mode and download all my maps. It's game.
I get
it's
an idea every
game-changing.
now and then.
You do.
Every
You
once
You
do.
in a
got
blue moon.
technology now.
You should
Yeah.
have all the stuff
Yeah.
over here.
I even got a calendar on one of those things.
Exactly. So organized.
Mm-hmm.
So getting away from people. I know we got derailed there, but that should be
Welcome
the
to
new
the
name.
club.
That should be the new name of this podcast. Derailed.
Dude, that's right.
Tangent. So getting away from people. What's kind of like as far as like when you're looking for sign in the property? Are you looking for tracks? Are you looking for food? Are you looking for bedding? And where if you are moving into bedding, like what's your proximity? Like how do you like to set up on that kind of stuff?
Sure. Yeah, I definitely like to pick around bedding areas until about, right around, I'd say November the 8th or so. Right around the time that I killed this deer, I'd say is whenever it's probably worth sitting all day, actually, instead of, I think we had some 90-degree early
yeah.
November days this year that probably wasn't worth doing it. But certainly picking around it for a little bit just so you don't bump that big deer out of there and then you're sitting on a nice, real useless spot at that
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
So definitely doing that, and whenever I'm looking for sign, I'm generally just looking for general deer signs. Some people go as far as looking for like individual buck beds and getting down to the nitty gritty, but certainly I just look for like that spot that's set up nicely for deadfall that was on the ground. Those deer were utilizing that, and definitely coming around that to where I knew every morning that there was going to be at least some amount of deer that were going to skirt around that. Absolutely. And where I ended up shooting this buck, it was kind of one of those just real quick, get in there, get up in a tree, and just kind of, once again, an observation stand, which that's something to drive home too, is just scouting is should be at least 60% of the actual hunt.
Yeah.
I think most of your days should probably be spent figuring that out. So I was dead set on doing that. And that buck, I think, was probably bedded within 150 yards of me there because he was, whenever he became visible, I was seeing him through the understory there. And, I think he came out around 4:30, which is fairly early, I guess, for an evening hunt to be seeing deer. And I don't think he was bedded very far from there at all. And it makes sense because the way that this creek runs through there, it's a fairly large creek, produces a lot of real thick cover. And that's kind of what we do as public land hunters. There's a lot of guessing of what's right.
Throw it against the wall and see if it sticks.
Exactly. Yeah, sometimes you get lucky.
It's that's we're finding that out more and more. We do public land deer hunting. The duck hunting thing, I feel like you guys have down pretty well. But there's always room.
It's be a good year. Last year was awful. Year before was awful. Last year was never got cold. Year before was too much water. But I mean, we've been on birds every hunt this year, which is good for this season already.
Yeah.
Because of how warm it's been.
Mm-hmm.
So I have high hopes.
I appreciated getting to shoot at birds the first time I went out. I never duck hunted before this year, so
all right.
I got myself a pair of waders, and it's always nice because I own one decoy that I found, and so I bring camera equipment, and then I watch these two set up decoys in the dark while I'm drinking coffee.
I love setting decoys.
Lava coffee. So
hot.
So hot.
The upside and downside to stainless steel devices.
Yeah.
That shit never gets cold.
No.
Like
But
barely drinkable by the time we're done hunting.
You just have to take
Like,
the
it's
cap
finally
off.
time to. It's finally cool enough to drink.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to pack out, boys.
And we're done. Yeah, that's the way that goes. I had to, to take this down a dark corner that day. We hunted so early in the morning, and then I drove over to meet Cameron to go hunting. I got out there, and then it was time to utilize the facilities. So I had to, answer that age-old question: does a bear shit in the woods? Because Abe did. So.
I mean, I don't feel like that's your first time.
It was the first time.
Deal.
It was the first time doing it on public land. So there was a first.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, if you don't count like going on a backpacking trip in Colorado,
I feel like it all counts.
there were a lot of people around too, which was the other kind of thing. There was a bunch of parked cars, and I figured it was about the time that people were going to start walking out. So I kind of I know, dude. I come walking out of the woods, and I freaking scared the shit out of a guy because he was just like, "Oh," and I was like, "Yeah, I had to go take care of some stuff in there," and so it was an experience. I don't know why I had to share that.
At least you didn't have waders on,
dude. I was
talk about a pain.
I can't. It's hard enough to pee in waders, let alone try to take a dump.
You're not supposed to pee in them.
I thought that's what y'all told me to do.
Dude, that was a joke.
It's not a wetsuit. Wetsuit.
I mean, pee with them on while you're trying to take. I don't know.
Wait till it gets cold and you're wearing like 6 layers.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It gets worse and worse.
Like base layer,
the beauty
2 fleece layers, then waders.
Yeah. That's been
stupid.
That's been like the way, like the hardest thing for me is how to plan wearing clothes from the truck to the spot, because it's like I may be sitting at the truck. Like opening morning was it was
hot.
It was hot, but in the morning it was before the sun came up. It was
light. Once it starts getting cold, hike out in your fleece upper and pack your big jacket. And once everything gets set and you start sitting down, start getting cold.
Yeah,
big jacket.
Because I got a little chilly though the first time we went out. Oh, the cold front blew in. That was why. Yeah. It was like dropping
like 10 degrees the first hour.
It was like, whoa.
Yeah, it got chilly.
Here it is. So birds are starting to move though.
Y'all shot at birds.
Yeah, we did. I
only took that one shot that time because I was sitting with the dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all shot at birds.
We did shoot at birds, which is nice. So Once again, another
You
tangent.
didn't shoot birds.
No, we did not
shot
shoot
at
birds. We
I
shot.
think I have to make sure you clarify that. we were letting you go on with that. We're like, yeah,
come on,
I know,
somebody take ownership of it.
Yeah.
I missed some birds, but and that's what we said. We shot at birds. We never
shot
said we
at
hit
birds.
birds. And then
we
you have to just go the little bit further and be like, y'all guys missed.
That's my job.
birds.
It was terrible.
Well, your dick, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
It was fun. Getting to pull the trigger is nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely getting to pull the trigger is nice. So, I don't know. Trying to think some other questions about public land strategies.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah, no, I think that probably another important thing to realize is that, you know, there's definitely people out there that we've seen it online, you know, definitely like hunter harassment. There's some people out there that
Oh my gosh.
definitely don't want to see you successful out there, and they have the right to be walking.
That?
I haven't. No, I'm very fortunate I haven't, but man, it just seems like it happens everywhere if you look at it long
Yeah.
enough online. You start thinking.
That's a good point too, because actually, if they're purposefully trying to make you not get a deer, it is actually against the law,
Yep, it is illegal.
and you can actually
Press
it
charges,
is hunter harassment, and it is a no here in Texas.
Hmm.
Certainly.
The great country of Texas.
The great country of Texas, you're right. It is, that is, I can't imagine, like, you want to talk about patience of, like, some idiots in front of you, like, don't murder Bambi.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like,
Cool.
They're-
I gotta go.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
unfortunately, I consider it legal hunter harassment where, you know, these draw hunts that you don't have to prove that you're a hunter at all. You don't have to have a hunting license or prove you've taken any step to really care about hunting a piece of land. You can go in for a draw as someone who, you know, doesn't agree with the sport and get
Take a
drawn
spot.
and burn that thing, and
Yeah.
there's one less person that can use
I
it.
never thought about that.
I
That
never
seems like a
thought of
lot
that either.
effort.
But yeah, and
They do.
Does that happen?
Definitely.
That's crazy.
Guarantee you,
Huh.
yeah, that's
yeah, I never knew that was a thing. But like that's a commitment. And, well,
I barely have commitment enough to enter my own draws, much less just trying to burn tags.
well, not just that, but I mean, you think about that. Like that's kind of a dumb way to like, and you have to be an idiot to go that route because I mean the money you spend on getting the draw hunt, all that kind of stuff. You know, like I mean,
If
some
it's
of
just-
it's pennies. You know, like $10 here, $10 there, but you could put that towards, you know, conservation and you know join like one of the groups that actually help out, and put that money where it saves a bunch of deer instead of one.
yeah.
That just seems. I mean, it
You
may,
know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know how
Really
logical
a
it
point.
is, but
Cecil
it
Lion
seems
bullshit.
almost counterproductive. I mean, because if success rates are too low on a draw hunt for too many years, they're going to up the tags
Yeah,
to help cull the
true.
deer. So they screw around like that too long, they're just going to start handing out more tags.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's short-sightedness.
I'm normally not good at arguments, but I think I can pick this one apart pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot of angles of this that you know just why, like
Yeah, it's
why
Turning the barrel.
it's going to
on
happen
themselves.
anyways. You know,
Yeah. People do things that just make you want to shake your head. You know, so many times you're just like, what in the world? Why are you doing that? Doesn't make any sense.
No.
why?
Huh. Why?
I held my dad at a Facebook page for his business, completely unrelated to hunting, and he decided on. We went to South Africa in 2013, and he decided to leave a review on their Facebook page, and all of a sudden they figured out his name, they figured out what business he was related to, and he just started getting 1-star review after 1-star review on his Facebook
Oh
page.
my god.
Dude, the people who are against African hunting are all like full on crazy.
Absolutely.
It's like PETA on steroids. Those
Yeah.
people get it.
I don't
Like, they're
understand.
into it.
I don't get.
That's crazy.
I don't understand.
You got a commitment.
I really
Yeah.
have no desire to go hunt over there, but that's it. Like, what it also I think people just don't understand what it does to help people out.
And they have no clue. They think
And-
the term trophy hunting is the biggest misnomer
Crock.
of the whole mess.
Definitely.
Yes, there's a trophy. Yes, because that's a memory. But all that food feeds these people who literally don't have food.
And-
like there's nothing that goes to waste.
Yeah.
They're culling big animals. They're not just smoking them. And the only thing actually keeping most of these species alive is hunting, because otherwise they all be poached to hell.
That's
but
what
it's
I know.
more important for
Yeah.
these communities and villages and small governments or whatever it is over there. The people in charge. It's more opportunistic and it's more valuable for them to keep those animals alive than it is to let the people poach them, because rich white people will go over there and pay 30 grand to smoke something.
Yes.
And 30
And
grand,
that's the
30
only reason-
grand's on the low side
Yeah,
of a lot
that's
of
a
those
start.
hunts.
That's
I
a
mean,
start. Exactly.
Yeah,
and there's nobody else that's going over there. One person spending 30 grand plus over there. It doesn't really happen by even big corporations over there.
No.
And you're doing that year round.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't understand. There's just no, like you said, there's no.
There's no rhyme to it, no
No.
reason to it. It's not logic.
It's the New Jersey cat lady.
the New Jersey cat, like Joe Rogan always says.
Yeah, damn New Jersey cat lady.
Yeah,
Who
they
doesn't
don't do the
even.
research. They
Yeah.
don't. It's short-sightedness. It's
You hunted a cat? You must have been hunting like a feline, like
speaking
what I
of
have
hunting
in
cats
my
in
house.
Australia. That's a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard about
Oh,
they
my
have
God.
magazines that people front page that people holding up like house cats.
They have
like
such
they have
a-
so many. It's a thing.
It's like bad.
trophy hunting like domesticated
tabby,
cats,
you
like
know?
tabbies. Like
Wow.
look at this big tabby.
Yeah,
I
look
shot.
at this big
Like,
tabby.
thing. Like look into it. It's crazy.
Oh wow.
They have
Yeah.
a crazy overpopulation of cats there.
Yeah, they hunt
Cats.
House cat.
whatever.
Hey, I mean, I guess it'll eat.
Probably.
I don't know.
I mean, Renella and they
General
made that
Tso's
coyote.
chicken,
and
I mean,
said-
I can think of a bunch of good dishes for some domestic house cat.
Yeah,
I mean, you season anything up, it'll probably eat.
exactly. Fry it.
Some teriyaki sauce and a wok.
Teriyaki kitty.
I mean, that has a lot of flavors, I think,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Oh yeah. I think you,
That's
you
why
can
it's
eat,
there.
You can eat shoes with teriyaki on them. Yeah. Don't quite get the anti-hunting thing. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. I can respect that.
Absolutely.
But to think that it is just like straight murder is ridiculous.
Yeah, like
That's what I don't understand.
Like I'm saying, there's no logic. It's an emotional reaction. It's an emotional stand they're taking, not a logical stand, not an informed
No.
stand, just emotion.
As a hunter on a college campus, I mean, what is that like for you? Are you?
It's actually been all right. I started an archery club at this university, and it's had a pretty good, outpour of people that
awesome.
got people interested in archery.
Yeah.
So, and I would say at least half the people that are in the club don't even hunt.
They're just
just
shoot
like
bows, yeah.
they watch Katniss for like 10 minutes, and they're like, "Well, I got to get in on that."
Oh, yeah.
So they come in, and maybe that transitions into them talking to some of the other fellows around the campfire there that do hunt, and maybe that introduces them. So
Yeah.
trying to do some part in growing this community.
Hunter
But-
recruitment is like the new thing for me. One of my buddies who just now got into hunting and got his first deer, shot a doe,
Great.
and I was more excited than him. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. He sent me. It was like I think I shot a doe. I was like, oh my god, dude,
Yeah.
so
I
excited.
tell everybody. I mean, when you go say I'm sitting in a stand, I was like, I can't. I'm like, but if you need to pack meat, you call me. I'll be
Yeah.
there with bells on.
Yeah.
Like I'll help pack out. I don't care.
And that was the other thing too. This guy, he'd never he didn't grow up in a family that hunted, and just wanted to do it and started doing it, and so,
Yep.
and then I was laughing because he sent me a text. He's like, okay, I killed it. It's I've got it. And I was like, is the thought of, oh shit, now what do I do? Setting in, like,
Oh yeah.
what
we've
do
all
I
been
do
there.
now?
Like this is awesome.
Yeah,
Oh man, now
But,
we've got work to do.
yeah.
like the
now
first
it's-
time when you're staring at this thing, like I don't have a whole lot of idea what I'm doing.
I've watched a lot of YouTube
I was about to say,
videos.
like, I've
Right,
watched
but-
shit out of some YouTube, but man, this is real now.
doesn't-
And once you get in there, it starts getting easier and easier.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
need to realize that you are going to mess some meat up
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
first couple times, and you just make sure you learn from those mistakes, and
Yeah, just get to cutting too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pigs are the best practice.
Oh my god.
Because who cares?
You're just like,
just start ripping parts off of them
Yeah,
and
you're
learn
like,
it. Because
ooh.
it's all the same.
Yep.
Four-legged hoven animal.
Yep.
It'll cut up same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Such good practice.
But this, so he drugged this thing out by himself, and gets to the parking lot and is like, I have no idea what to do. And
I need an adult.
he's like, exactly. He's like, I have a knife. Dude walking out with his daughter. Hey man, you need some help with this? He was like, oh my God, that would be awesome. Like, I have no idea. And guy helped him cut it up, and
That's awesome.
You know, I thought that
deal.
was a pretty good, thing to pitch in. And everybody I've run into on public land has been pretty cool. Meeting guys in the parking lot and things like that. You know, everybody's been really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's probably something that ebbs and flows depending on who you meet. But
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've run into with duck hunters setting up 50 yards directly across the pond from you. Like, no, dude, I was here first, and you will get shot there. Like, you can set up 90 degrees from me.
Yeah.
You can't set up directly across. I'll share the pond, but no way.
I just
Not a
don't
chance.
understand.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Exactly.
Like, you've got to have some idea of hunting. If you,
Yeah.
I mean,
how
you
guns
just,
work and where
Yeah,
bullets
like,
go
I mean,
when you shoot them. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
like,
You're
that's what
shooting
I don't
in the air,
understand.
it
Is
is an
just
arc.
like, yeah,
Physics.
exactly. Smart people stuff. I just don't understand people that do that. Like you said, it's one thing to. It's not that you're just there. It's just have some common sense of like. where
Yeah,
you're
and these
putting-
little respect. Like,
Yeah.
oh, these dudes were here first. Like,
That's-
so they show
Yeah.
show up early. Like, it's public land. If you're in my spot when I show up,
It's
that
your
sucks
spot.
for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't get here early enough.
Yeah.
But you did. But
And you
you have to
win.
give me the same respect.
Definitely.
So all this kind of brings up another good point. Now that we're talking about new people on public land and stuff like that, do you have any pointers for like things to take with you, or
Definitely.
things that are good to have in the backpack, or just in general, someone starting out besides just showing up?
Yep.
I love talking about what people carry in their day pack.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
feel like half the time I got way too much and half the time I don't have enough.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, I cycle between it.
Every
Yeah.
time Cameron pulls my backpack up into the tree, he's just like, Jesus, what is
What do you
in here?
have in here?
What is in here? But yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great question.
What are you carrying yours?
Yeah, so with the climber I got's probably with the Molly straps on, it's probably about 22 pounds. So I got about 10 pounds worth of stuff in the pack, and about a 5-pound bow. But in that pack, I definitely from this buck. By the way, this buck was the very first buck I'd ever shot on public land.
Okay.
And I'll probably top out on him, and I'm happy to be good
Yeah,
with that.
exactly.
But what I wish I'd brought, like you were saying, messing meat up, was to bring at least like a tarp or something.
Yeah.
That's even if it's just
Real thin painters. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's a good one.
like
Yeah,
3
tarps
yard.
in general, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you use a tarp for so much.
Yeah, I mean, like a sled. If you need to get them out of a spot, you
Mm-hmm.
can just wrap them up in that and pull. But that was one where I was like, man, I'm getting meat all over this, and plus I wanted to cape that deer for a
Yeah,
shoulder
for keeping
mount.
it, yeah.
So there is a gutless method to do it, and I'd researched that plenty going in there. But once you start wanting to save the front half of all the fur and you
Yeah.
expose all the meat, then it starts getting dangerous in terms of, like, especially if you're hunting like sandy soil, like a lot of East Texas
Yeah.
public
you
land
go
is.
do a bunch of washing if you get it all sandy, and which is such a pain.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Luckily, I went to maybe they didn't tell me. I went to the processor, dropped it off. They said the meat's ready for me to pick up. They obviously
go.
made it work,
I'm
so
sure
it
it's
didn't
fine.
get.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't get too bad. I'm sure that the motel I stayed at appreciated me washing the back straps in their sink too. So
Dude,
I would
that's-
use the bathtub. Hung
I
them on a
did.
shower curtain rod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
No
that's-
shame.
no, I'm like, well, I got no running water out here. What am I supposed to do? So
Yeah, that's a picture right there.
No
Just
shame.
Some back straps, some
Absolutely.
quarters hanging in a,
Oh.
bathtub.
Yep.
In a Motel 6
there you go.
somewhere in the United States.
Yeah, no, that tarp's probably one of the bigger ones for me that I really wished I'd had. Everything else is just like pretty standard, like bone saw, so you can get rid of a limb if it's just an obvious limb that you got to get rid of. Headlamps, obviously you don't want to get caught out there, not being able to see a dang thing.
We
And then-
did. I forgot.
Oh, yeah?
I forgot a headlamp the last time. One of the last times I went out, I got out there and I was like, forgot my damn headlamp. So Cameron and I are walking back via cell phone light, just like
He didn't have one?
he didn't have one either.
Oh my god.
I got out there and-
I have headlamps all over the place. I just bought two more headlamps this weekend
That's
just
happening.
because it's like duck calls. I just can't have enough.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
At
gonna,
least the headlamps are useful.
I'm gonna stick the head. I'm gonna have one in my backpack, just as like my emergency one.
I keep one in
Yeah.
the door pocket in my truck all the
Yeah.
time.
Well, see, that was
That's
the
not even
problem. I
my
had
good
my
one.
headlamp in the truck.
Oh.
Not helpful if you're, because
Yeah.
I walked in during the daylight. So I just
Didn't
Yeah.
got in a hurry and just left it. And
Yeah.
then was halfway out there and was like, well, he'll have one. Which,
Of course he will.
yeah. Even then, like, just the fact of like trying to walk behind somebody with no light,
Oh my God.
just busting brush is the worst thing on earth. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I know it's hitting you in the face. Like,
Dude. More just like tripping on crap, and you're just like,
You can't see.
you can't see anything.
yeah, I always put a headlamp in your bag and
Yeah.
just
Put
leave
one
it
in
there.
each, like I have my
Like-
duck bag and like a day pack.
Yeah.
One in each.
Yeah,
Just
that's
leave them.
Find one you like that's inexpensive. You don't even have to get like expensive ones. Aren't even really that important as long as you it's better to have one than not one at all.
Yeah, exactly.
That Energizer one I use, I think, is maybe only $40. And
Yeah.
It's 350 lumen.
Well,
I think
I got two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got two for $20 at Home Depot that were they were super bright. I can't remember what the brand was, but they were nice.
yeah, I don't know how prevalent armadillos and skunks are where y'all hunt, but whenever one of those suckers decides to start running out in front of you,
Oh yeah.
at like
Oh,
full
yeah,
speed
pigs
ahead,
too.
you want to hit the deck, and you really wish you could see them.
Yeah. Oh God, it's Bigfoot.
Yep.
Oh, it's a
Sounds like it.
7-ounce armadillo.
I saw a big armadillo. That day we went out to Ray Roberts that Friday to scout before we hunted the second time.
Yeah.
Big one.
Just
Like,
big
heard
giant
crash around the
armadillo.
and it was daylight. It was getting to be dusk. Like, what the hell is that? I leashed up the dog. Just didn't know what the hell it was, and finally we see it. And it's a big armadillo, just waddling through the brush.
I don't understand why they don't allow deer hunting there because I have never seen so much deer poop in my life.
Yeah,
Because they don't, so they all hang out there.
yeah, they know.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we're cool here.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I just, I'm just, man, I wish we could hunt deer there.
Yeah, Lavon too is another one I think that
Yeah.
they don't.
Yeah, there's a big sign at Lavon that said you do not deer hunt here.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I just went to go get my permit there
I
for
don't
duck
understand
hunting,
why though.
and
I mean, why would it not be just?
I
a
think
bow
because of the
only?
housing. But I mean, bow only.
But
Yeah,
you're shooting
definitely.
pigs.
yeah. You can bow hunt pigs out there. You can shotgun hunt pigs out
You
there.
can shot north of 380. Yeah.
Yeah.
With a smooth. With
well, and a
slug,
lot
yeah.
of that stuff. I mean, like you might see a lot of sign, but there might only be like a few that hang out in that one area.
Oh, I've
Sure,
seen a ton of
and-
deer up at Ray Roberts.
And I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
there's
no.
a reason. Like, there's too many. Then,
There
like,
should
maybe
be
there's a
season.
lot of
You
deer
can get
hunting around
tags.
the area.
Some old guy told me they get like there's
Right,
a way
that's
to
what I
get
was-
tags if you live up there or something. I don't remember.
Okay.
I
That's
feel
That's what I
like
was
a
getting
couple
at.
years ago he told me that.
There's always a way that they keep it
I
managed.
think they get managed, but it's not
Yeah.
accessible to us,
to the general public.
the plebeians.
Exactly.
next week on the show, Texas Parks and Wildlife Department biologist to explain to us why we're being withheld
Exactly.
out of the best deer
We'll
hunting in the
have to
state.
We'll have to have
Yeah.
Chris back on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so tarp, headlamp, bone saw.
Yeah, bone saw, extra trigger release. If you want to spend the money on it, it's probably worth doing. And also beats the crap out of shimmying down a tree with a climber again to go grab a drop.
Oh yeah, if you
Release.
drop,
Drop release.
yeah, out of the,
That sucks.
Yeah.
yeah, that is terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so and you use a climber.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to ask too. So a climber.
Yeah, climber. And
Abe's
that,
got a pile of stands and we got climbing sticks.
yeah.
Well, I've been debating on what to buy for next year since we're wrapping this year up in the next couple months.
Yeah, the climber for me is, it's really versatile for at least that area. There's a lot of pine. There's a lot of really tall straight oak trees that you can get into. So it made sense. Some people like getting in any tree that they want, so the sticks are the way to go. But what I like most about that climber is, I always think forward of if I'm successful, how am I going to get this freaking deer out of here? And because I have the shoulder and waist like molly straps on the base of that climber, I just bring that in with me. I'll leave the top half at home at the truck, and I'll bring in that bottom half, and it acts like a rucksack or like a frame. So then I just
Okay,
bring like a plethora of bungee straps with me, and then I just kind of make it work. Some game bags, I throw the quarters in, and then that acts like a frame, and then I just walk out with
That makes sense.
So you cut up the whole deer in the field.
Correct. Yeah. Some people just want to
Gut
do a
it,
field dress and then get a game card in there maybe and bring it out. But
Yeah.
I think especially with as warm as it is sometimes when it hunts, especially midday. Whenever
Yeah.
if you shot a deer in the morning, then it's noon and it's 80.
Yeah.
Then
Get
you
that
got
shit
to
cut out.
cut it. You got to get
I
it out of the
agree.
Yeah, you
fur.
gotta-
I agree with that. I prefer game bags and hauling out. It's
Yeah.
way better than trying to pull a whole deer yourself.
Definitely.
Oh my God.
Some of that grass is so tall out there, it ain't worth using a wheeled type of.
Yeah, no way.
Thing
You're
to-
just
Well,
not
it
gonna-
cuts down your weight too. I mean, like once you get a deer down to what's manageable to carry out, like you're not talking about that much weight. It's not an elk or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, whitetail, you could probably almost get all the way on your back, depending on what you got as far as framework.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
So what else you got in your bag? What's the top secret thing you use?
Top secret thing I use. The thing that killed this buck by far was an estrus doe bleat can, one of those original turn cans.
Got one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got one.
Me too.
That buck came out at 4:30, and I always, throughout the hunt, I was seeing his butt for the most part. I knew he wasn't interested in coming my way, and I didn't see a reason why he would either. So,
Yeah.
right around 5 is whenever I started throwing some like grunts at him, and I didn't want to overcall, so I waited probably 10-15 minutes. It was about 5:15 at that point that I did some of those doe bleat turns, and I remember I was sitting on the left side of the tree. So the tree's on my right, and I'm looking for him with my binoculars, and I can't find him anymore. I think he's out of my life forever. And I put the binoculars down. He's standing at 25 yards on the right side of my tree, and I can see him out of my peripheral. Now, whenever the nice scramble happens, now I'm getting like my cams and broadhead over on the other side of the tree to get in position.
Yeah.
But I think for sure, if it's November 9th, you got to have a doe bleat of some kind. I don't care if it's built into your buck grunt and you slide the tube to make it sound like that, or if you got a can. I had the can, but that killed that buck. So I'd say that was my, if you're in mid rut, something in your bag.
Yeah, I have the can as well.
Yeah, I was on sale at Academy in Abilene a few weeks ago for $9.
Can't not have one of these.
For $9.
Yeah.
You can throw in my backpack for $9.
Yeah.
What's your thought on like the rattling bag or rattling horns? Do you think what do you kind of have an opinion on those?
Man, I've tried doing it. It just seems like you got a short window of making it happen, or for them to be real receptive to that, and I just haven't had a lot of luck. I think my father one time got a buck to run in kind of like hardcore.
Yeah, like,
obviously
whoa.
it works. I've seen some people.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you see a lot of. I guess unfortunately for us that hunt like south and here in Texas is you see like the bucks up in like the Midwest is what a lot of the hunting channels you watch really promotes, and sometimes they don't. I just have not seen that kind of same
Reaction.
aggressiveness that it seems like those deer for whatever reason up there tend to react to those types
Maybe
of calls.
our weather's so much different,
It might be. I think their rut's just harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think ours is more spread out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that it lasts, so long, and there it's like we got to get this done before all hell freezes over.
Exactly.
Exactly.
They're hitting it hard and done, and here they're not in a big hurry because they know it's not getting super cold for another month.
I think that's
I
right.
got this.
Yeah. No worries.
No worries.
Yeah.
And the does are just coming in constant, in and out of estrus, and it's probably, like I said, just spread out a lot. So
Yeah, definitely.
So you also have a Facebook page that we definitely want to talk about. What's the name of that, and what's the history and the story there?
Yeah, so the page is Public Land Antler Addicts, which originally was called just Antler Addicts, but I saw that maybe Facebook, or at least the larger, much obviously larger page called Antler Addicts has a very big following. I was like, probably got to get out of that. So there's going to be some trouble there. So I went ahead and because I'm just doing the public land thing now, especially killing this really nice deer off of there has made me a true believer. I had hunted several years before with little luck, even seeing much more than like little petty 8-pointers. Not legal deer, certainly. So now I'm totally gung-ho about making it happen again and again.
Yeah.
Maybe not to that scale. That deer's going to be extremely hard to get on to top. Though on the same trail cam that I killed him by, there was that 12.
Yeah.
So I guess you never say never, but
who knows?
But I'm just absolutely ate up with it now, and so I think I got enough content. It's all original content. I don't like reposting off other hunting pages or
Sure.
whatever viral videos decide to come out. So I kind of take pride in that. It's all original stuff, and kind of like what we're talking about here, tips and tricks and how-to kind of stuff for those just getting into it, and maybe some veterans of it as well. I got some good friends that decide they want to be nice enough to send me some photos of their kills, and I've showcased them on there, which that always gets me pumped up, seeing what other people are killing out there.
Absolutely.
Get you excited. It's like seeing good trail cam pictures. Just makes you believe it could actually happen to you.
Right.
So
Yeah, no doubt. We had a friend who shot a buck at LBJ Grasslands a couple
yeah,
days ago. Thanksgiving buck.
Wow.
So
that was a rifle.
yeah,
Yeah. All right, that's
rifle
awesome.
season. Yeah, you rifle hunt there, and you can rifle hunt at Caddo, right?
I believe definitely I know where LBJ you can, and they have like a 3-day doe day in there too. Which I'll say this also, back in 2014 was whenever I was taking that year off really from hunting, but I did go in there and do a lot of summer scouting because I was living in Dallas throughout the summers. Whenever I went back to school, it became real tough to get up there. But whenever I came back at the end of the season and checked that trail cam, the day with the most buck activity was the day that those like 3 doe days came in, where it was just all the rifle hunters were out.
And just
I had several 8 points come in the daylight, and on those
Push them
days.
around, you think?
I think that's absolutely what happened. Yeah, not an anomaly. So I thought that was an interesting point.
I just it's so hard to get to all these places. When it's like
It is.
just we've talked about this on the podcast before. People are like, well, there's just not that much public land in Texas. Well, there's not in
It's
comparison.
just spread out.
It's spread out.
Texas is huge compared to everywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get to all those places in enough times a year, right? I mean, Pat Mays is 2 hours from here, and it's still just I drive past 2 other public land spots to get to that.
Exactly.
It's kind of like, why, exactly. It's right there. So,
Yeah, I just I even done a little bit of. It was more of a scouting trip, more of like a really sorry attempt, I guess, of hunting this one bow hunting only WMA in southwest Oklahoma, and that's called Sandy Sanders WMA, and it's also tens and tens of thousands of acres, but it's got a mule deer population in there, and it's also got whitetail and it's also just an over the counter, pay your due for the out of state tag, and you can go hunt it as much as you want.
you said that's $280?
Yeah, $280
not
exactly.
bad at all.
Yeah, that's it. I think that was in I don't think it was the same one. It might be, but Outdoor Life put that up on a great public lands to go hit for cheap.
All right.
And Oklahoma made it for that right there, whitetail hunting.
Sure. No.
I've been looking pretty hard at that one.
Yeah, no, that state it's an absolute dream for those that want to get away from, the metroplex here, and you got to think most people have a life that doesn't allow them to do like the whole, or at least they have not the drive maybe to in March go and go shed hunt and do the whole camera pulls every now and again if time will even allow them to. So if you can get away from the metroplex, like Sandy Sanders is like you're borderline no cell phone service out there. So most people don't like dealing with those, discomforts.
That's perfect.
But
Yeah.
you find something like that, and I mean that area hunt's pretty crazy. It's big, deep ravine canyons. A real interesting part of Oklahoma that probably most people don't even know about.
Yeah.
And certainly, once again, there's no baiting there, so it would be once again find a creek crossing ravine that once again like I used in that other public land that we were just talking about where this buck got killed, the original spot I was using. You just got to find those funnels, and they're everywhere. Whether you're in East Texas or Southwest
Just depends
Oklahoma,
on
there's
what-
funnels.
Yeah, what the funnel is. I think Oklahoma will be on the list of places to go next year, for sure. Just because it seems like an interesting thing, but I'm sure it'll be the same problem I have with Pat Mays, trying to get up there enough, But
Right.
All right, so I guess if you had one bit of advice to give somebody who was a brand new public land hunter, what would that be?
That's good because there's a lot that I can talk about public land, but certainly if there's one thing that they need to know or keep in mind going out there, I guess is just be prepared to be successful. and that goes along with this whole, keeping the meat, from getting hot and dirt all in it, and that it could happen.
Yeah.
So, don't, always got to, keep the hunter face good and good light. And we
Yeah.
definitely want to make sure that if people are going out there and hunting and they are successful, that there's not too many stories of people just saying, well, I had to sacrifice the, two hindquarters because I was too lazy and couldn't get it
I
out.
didn't want to take it out.
So whether you need to use a game cart, whether you got a pack, whatever you can use to make sure that every bit of the deer is utilized is pretty important. But that's more of a moral stand, I guess. More of a tip, I guess, would just be to be resilient than anything. I mean, it's a cliche that you can't kill them on the couch, but you really can't. And if you walk where most other people aren't going, then there's a chance that something could happen. So being resilient and, there's no excuse or there's no substitute, I should say, for boots on the ground scouting. I can look at Google Earth all day and it just doesn't do justice to the place until I go look at it with my own eyes. And that tells a big story whenever you can see it. So, just putting in a little preseason scouting. I did 2 shed hunts and 1 trip in September. So it was 3 trips total before the deer season started. And it was on my second outing out that big bruiser was killed. So definitely just a resilient and be prepared.
Yeah, be prepared and stay resilient. I think that's great advice for sure. So what do you boys got? In Ranella format, concluders?
I don't know. Jordan, what you got?
Just passing along.
Mm-hmm.
It's you're right about not being able to kill them from the couch. A lot of things people need to realize is hunting is not a comfortable sport.
No.
You're gonna your butt's gonna fall asleep in the stand, and you're gonna get antsy. I'm real bad. I know Grinch is with me on this one about being antsy. Start trying to move around a little bit, but you gotta stay still and realize that whatever you can do to keep yourself knowing when you're going out there, being ready to be uncomfortable. Like if you need to haul a pad out there with you, it just gives it a little bit extra weight. It might keep you in the stand a little longer. Pound or so of carrying something that's gonna make you comfortable. Do it.
Very much
Absolutely.
worth it.
Same thing with the thermocell.
Yeah.
I think we do pretty good in this podcast of putting them in there all the time. But man, they work.
It's
They're
a
great.
lifesaver. It really is.
Especially here in Texas, it's hot. Mosquitoes are always horrible, and I'll tell you what, it made a difference. I was reluctant to spend the money on one. I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Probably, if there's one thing in the bag too that you could say that for anyone hunting, in the southern half here of the U.S. is you gotta be prepared to just not get eaten up like crazy, man. It's tough.
It seems like it's bad. I mean, and we just don't get any freezes at all, so it doesn't.
Definitely. No, it doesn't get any better.
It
all the
doesn't
way
get
through
better.
December.
Yeah.
Yep.
And try to hunt near water as much as possible, like on the
It's
creeks. You're
Which
just
makes it
worse.
even worse.
yeah, you're right. They're
Worse.
they're in their backyard, and the ticks were real bad this year too.
Really?
For
Yeah.
me, I just had it seemed like it's died down, but there's been so many ticks. I feel like this year. During all my preseason scouting, I mean, I walked one piece of public land, got back to the truck, and I pulled 15 ticks off me.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Just like, and they were just on me, everywhere.
Permethrin.
Oh my God, like
I hit my snake boots with it every year.
going crazy. Yeah.
I hit, if I'm gonna scout in blue jeans, old ones, I'll hit them with it. It lasts through like 6 washes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the stuff you can't get on your skin.
Yeah. Don't put it on your skin.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Yeah. It burns.
The good stuff.
The good
Exactly.
stuff. Stuff that's not good for your skin.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, it may give you cancer. It will give you
Yeah,
cancer.
no question.
No question
this
about
is
it.
definitely dangerous.
Yeah.
It's worked great.
I like what you said about especially public land. Certainly, probably more exponential than private land, but it's not comfortable. And that's even still at the beginning of this year, I was learning that if it's going to be 35 in the morning, it was 35 some of those mornings I was hunting, and you want to be comfortable, like walking out there starting immediately. You want to be nice and cozy, so you got your
hot
layers
real
on.
fast.
You go 1 mile in, you're like, all right, so the deer are just going to smell me from right here. I'm not even at my spot yet. I'm sweating like a dog.
Yep.
So definitely, tying a couple of them jackets around your waist,
Yep.
walking in and just kind of braving the cold for the first 5 minutes. You're going to warm up. Just trust that that's going to happen. But certainly, realizing that there's going to be a lot more sweat and blood than probably good times or success
Exactly.
being had
Absolutely.
for the most part.
Well, that goes with also the opposite of not just, keeping your jacket tied around your waist, but you need to make sure that you don't leave the jacket in the car because you're like, like after I got all my stuff out of the truck, it's not feeling that cold. Remember, you're going to be up in a tree.
Yeah.
And temperature
And
drop
not
right before
temperature
sunup.
drops, like
A lot of
our
people
wind
forget
starts
about that.
kicking up, like
Oh,
you
yeah.
need a plan to stay because staying,
That's
the
how you
longer
kill
you
'em.
stay, the longer you sit, the more you're out there, the better
Yeah.
chance you got. And like we've heard this whole podcast is, public lands is not just going to hand it to you.
Absolutely.
I mean, any success on public land is
It's
Huge.
it's
celebrated.
huge. Yeah, I mean,
definitely.
anything you can get down on public land is quite a challenge. So,
Yeah.
well, anybody else? We skipped your concluder.
Man, I don't know. We covered so much ground.
Yeah, we did.
What all knives is in everyone's pack? Because I carry 3.
3 knives.
Yeah.
What 3 knives do you carry?
A gut hook. Just get the initial splits done because it's just so much easier.
I got one of those.
And then remember the replaceable blade. I think mine's an Outdoor Life or whatever brand it is. The
Yeah.
replaceable blades are the game changer.
Yeah.
Because once you dull up, you swap the blade. There's no
Like a
turns
little
Oh, yeah.
and
Avalon
stuff.
type.
I've seen that.
And then I carry a big fixed blade to pop joints with. You
Yeah.
can pry with it some and pop tendons real easy. And those 3 seem to get it done pretty well.
I love the gut hook. I've got a little skinning knife that I use, but I want to replace that with that
They're
Avalon
worth
type
everything.
surgical.
Yeah. You've got
blade.
the super small bladed half.
Yeah, I have the
I like-
Gerber Vital, I think is what it's called.
I
And
kinda
it
like
has like the
yours.
surgical tip.
Yeah, his is
And-
the small blade. Mine's like the pocket knife style blade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I carry my pocket knife, my
Yeah.
normal everyday carry pocket knife. I mean, it's
I
always
don't count
with me.
that. I feel like that's
yeah,
a given.
well, I thought I'd throw it out there just because
Yeah.
I have it on me. But then I have a fixed blade that I carry with me that in case I do actually need it. But you know what? I keep a bone saw with me, and then I don't really use any other knife but that little Gerber for joints. I can cut through joints with it. I cape it, I gut it, I quarter it all with that one little knife.
Yeah, it's doable.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it's such a game changer to have that little replaceable blade knife. And I fought against him for a long time, and I got one off of a whim. And
I bought the same gut hook you have. It's it takes regular box
Yeah.
cutter blades.
Oh, yeah,
Not
so
like
it's-
straight razor blade. It's like the ones that angle cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and,
That's awesome too.
Well,
You get a few done, you can swap it and throw a blade away.
That's great.
and I've even stopped taking my gut hook with me. I don't
like it.
I don't use a gut hook anymore.
Quick.
I do like.
I mean,
that.
it's
Five
not bad.
five
I'm not
splits
saying it's
and that
bad.
thing
I
ready
just
to rock.
I carry so many knives with me that I don't even need.
You can make a
And
necklace for him.
like my duck calls. I see what you did there.
Oh. Have you seen this? What is it? This Raptor hook?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did I send you all
thing?
that?
Yeah.
I think they're on the
backside of it's got a blade to skin with.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
And it's that thing.
I didn't
is
look at the
like-
price though. I feel like they're probably expensive.
It's expensive. I looked at it. It's like $100.
I don't know.
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
no.
Yeah.
I already got a backpack full of knives.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen this thing?
I haven't, no.
It's like a hook.
Huh?
So like, but not like a gut hook where it's a tight hook. This thing is
Right.
like a claw. It looks like a raptor claw,
Wow.
and it's got a T handle that you hold, and
Here,
you
let's see if we can find it real
You
quick.
can just
Sure.
kind of. It's you. I watched a little kid tear down a deer in like
like 5 seconds.
like he worked in a process.
So it's
plant.
not just for starting the initial cut down the
Oh no,
belly.
it's
just
absolutely
everything.
for everything. Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's like a big.
Talon. huh?
Here's
Hot
a
talent,
quick
yeah.
video of them doing a pig with it.
I mean, it
Oh yeah.
looks
Get
like
that
it gets the
pig.
job done.
Rips it open.
Wow.
I was like, that's pretty slick.
And those arm cuts, yeah,
The arm cuts. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
just ripping through that tough pig hide.
And
too.
pig hides.
And then you see how he'll
That's
I-
what made me buy a
it-
gut hook.
Well, and that's why I carry extra blades.
We'll put this up on
the
in the show notes so everybody can see what we're looking at right now. But we're watching this guy with a Raptor.
I feel like
knife.
I always hate it when you're
Tip.
listening to like comedy on
And
like
they're
the
like, "Oh, yeah, watch
radio,
this." And you're like, "Wow,
and they do
you're a
something
dick."
where they like point
You
at
get
someone
that
like, look at this guy over here, you
Yeah.
know, like, and you're like, I
can't see that.
Yeah,
I can't see that. So
You're right.
this will
yeah,
be in the
It's
show
pretty
notes.
cool.
that is really cool. Now that backside is a whole another thing to just
Exactly.
make it that much quicker and on public land if
He
you
got
can
that thing done
consolidate
quick.
tools.
Yeah,
man.
you know.
That's awesome.
And they
We
don't
shoot
sponsor
some
our
big,
show, so
bands.
we're not
need to
product
try
placement
to
here.
put it
This
back like that.
this is just neat stuff we saw on Instagram.
Yeah, the gutless method. I'm still. I'm not on the fence about it. I mean, it's a great method, but like,
With all these pigs,
it's like
though,
we're talking about. Like, I got
Yeah.
my
start
method
going
down. I have my
That's
method.
like
I know
that.
how to do it.
I'm done with messing
You know.
with pig guts. Especially that last one I shot.
I'm pigs. Yeah.
I put 2 300 blackout rounds through him, so his insides were pudding.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
awful.
Gross.
Gross.
Yeah, pull the back straps out, pull the hams off.
Done.
Yeah, exactly.
done, you know?
Yeah, I was about to say. Jeez,
It's still taking more than most people would, you know. Just leave them.
I've still got a bunch of pig. I need to make into sausage.
I mean, there's so
Think
many
about it.
pig. Like, I don't feel like that's a bad thing.
No.
yeah.
You know,
I don't think anyone's gonna get mad
It's
at you.
like you said. You walk up to a pig and you know about like
You know real
10 feet
immediately.
away.
I know immediately if I'm gonna cut it up or not.
Yeah.
It smells, how big it is, where I'm at, what time it is. There's a lot of
Yeah,
factors.
no. You're not making it into the cooler.
No. Like all those pigs we shot in Laredo. Like we left them all alive. We shot
Yeah.
100 something.
Wow.
It was helicopter.
Yeah.
Oh,
don't
yeah, I
know,
remember hearing
it
about that on
looked
y'all's last
amazing.
one.
I was super
Yeah, we
jelly.
knocked down some pigs.
Dude, that's
Man.
It took that first day. It took a while to get onto them, but then that day and the next day was just killing. I mean, one run I shot 150 rounds.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Tack, 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 tack.
Oh wow. Oh, wait, where was that? In just South Texas, huh?
Yeah, down south on the border.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, Laredo. Sure.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's awesome. How do you get a hookup like that?
Work.
Hey.
Special friends.
Yeah.
Special
I'll
friends.
see you just like
Not Jordan's kind of special friends.
Yeah.
I was about to say that sounds funny.
Well, you know, you're on a podcast, so you get all the Hollywood treatment, just like Renoa does, right?
You gotta tell your story about that.
Oh,
You texting us, you told me or something.
I know. Well,
Oh yeah.
so we're sitting at a public land spot, and I mean, we appreciate everybody listening to the podcast, but we feel like there's, you know, mom and dad, my brother, and then
Yeah.
that's it,
This
right?
is half. This is 75% for our entertainment.
Yes, exactly. So, I'm sitting there talking to this guy, and he's like, "Hey, he just come out of the woods," and my buddy Cameron was like finished putting his pack to get everything in his pack and was about to leave, and we're talking to this guy, and he's just like chatting with us and whatnot, and then he kind of stops. He looks at me. He goes, "Are you Abe from Chasing Carnivore?"
Wow.
And I was like, "What?" Like, yeah. Who are you? You're not one of my Facebook friends.
Right.
So that was kind of a
Wow.
cool experience to have. But
That's neat.
so big shout out to that guy if you're listening still, or if you were, you know, like that's what he looks like. No, I'm done. You know? So
That's crazy how stuff like that happens. I have a quick YouTube video I did over a hog light that's like a stabilizer hog light, and
okay.
it only has like 1,500 views on the thing, but my uncle told me, he said one of his students who's in Goliad, Texas, which is like southeast.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, what do you think about this product I saw?" And this guy like does a review on it. What do you think about it? It was my video.
Yeah.
And I
it's-
was like,
It's
"What?"
amazing.
Well, mini celebrity.
Exactly.
What's up now, guys?
What's up? Y'all said I wouldn't make it.
Here I am on YouTube. Well, I mean that's the thing with like
I'm gonna
YouTube.
be a star.
You know, it's a crazy. You could be viral in a minute. You know, with something.
One good kill shot or
Yep.
crazy footage starts floating around.
Yep.
There's your subscribers.
There it is. And well, I guess YouTube's becoming pretty difficult for the outdoor industry to.
Really?
Yeah, because I think they're like.
Like graphic
I think
footage?
they're giving like. I think that people. I think that YouTube had a problem because they had like these guys who were posting videos up of this just doing stupid shit,
Mm.
and like Clorox or somebody like that.
Oh, wow.
You know, was like just they had bought ads and they were running ads on YouTube, and they were like, what are we doing here?
Sure.
Like, you're running Clorox ads for these two guys who are doing stupid crap, and so they now kind of changed the way they monetize that. So I know a couple of those
Interesting.
fishing guys are moving over to, I forgot what it was called, but another kind of YouTube.
Was that
type
Carbon TV maybe?
No, this was something else, but yeah, Carbon TV is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I enjoy that a lot. for
Yeah,
sure.
Heartland Bow Hunter, some of the Growing Deer TV, some of those, like, started out as YouTube channels, have done, gone over there and been doing well.
Yeah.
And it's also a free, if I'm not mistaken, it's also a free
Nope, it's
subscription.
free, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And
I know there's been a lot of problems with some of the outdoor guys on like Instagram. I saw Cameron Haynes post up a couple things where they took down his him packing out meat.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything major, if I'm not mistaken. I thought I saw
Just
the
was
video
like
before.
him deadlifting 2 moose quarters over his head or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like something like maybe he was running like 200 miles with
Yeah.
an elk head, but on his back,
Exactly,
something,
on his
like-
back. Guy is crazy.
There's only like 500 quartering gutting videos on YouTube. That's crazy that they
That's
would
the thing,
single
right?
that one out. Wow.
I don't, it is what it is, I guess, but yeah. So, well, we appreciate you coming to the podcast and sharing your story with us. It's a great story. I think the one thing that I haven't asked you yet is, did you have the deer measured at all? I know that's going to be a question.
I didn't, but I've shot several deer between like 130, 148 or so, and I think he's going to top it right at the top of that, 148, if I had to put an exact number to it. But certainly I'll report back on that whenever taxidermist gets a chance to put tape to him. But,
Yeah.
But it's been a pleasure. This was fun, and hopefully I can be successful and back on public land and share that with you guys. And
We love it. Yeah.
And what was the Facebook again? One more time.
Yeah, it was the Public Land Antler Addicts, and that's it's just on Facebook. There is an associated YouTube channel. It's an old YouTube channel of mine that I've now changed the name of to kind of fit now what I'm going to be doing for quite some time. So it's definitely focused on public land, and hopes to really be putting out some good content here. I know I'm going to be going back to that same piece of public land that I know there's. I guess I don't know. Rifle season's opened up since then for sure, but hopefully that 12 made it through, and I can get back out there and hopefully broadcast some good self-filmed, that real lovely, easy to do self-filming public land bow hunt.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm sure will be flawless.
We are doing that as well, and that is
I remember
it's a trick and a half
Yeah,
to try to
true.
self-film everything,
Mm-hmm. I remember a couple does at 15 yards or so that just ended up getting away from you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm bringing up some good memories.
Yeah, no, it was terrible. It was. I mean, I got the doe, which was good, but
Yeah,
it was
for
like,
sure.
damn it, not on camera. So close, but hey, such is life. And
Yeah, you're learning
Yeah.
every time you go out there. You learn
Absolutely.
how to do it better. So.
And we've got the 4th Arrow camera arm now, which is game changing.
Yeah.
Which has been the word of the day for anybody keeping track at home.
Game changer.
But yeah, thank you for joining the podcast. We appreciate you coming on, and everybody go check out the Facebook page and give it a like, share some stuff.
Please do.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Why don't we remind everybody what it is again? Public Land Antler Addicts?
Yeah, Public Land Antler Addicts. Yes, sir.
Yes, and the Stormwater Creek crew has hats now. So if you want to do us a solid, reach out to us via the miracle of the World Wide Web, some form of social media will definitely get you a hat, and I think they're $25, right?
$25.
All
Yeah,
right.
Is that shipped?
That's with shipping.
yeah.
$25 shipped.
Or if you want to come to Legal Draft and watch us do a podcast, we will hand it to you.
And we'll probably buy you a beer even.
We're
stand-up gentlemen.
Absolutely. There's no doubt you will get a beer bought for you if you come and hang out. So, keep an eye on our website. Please go to iTunes, like the podcast, give us a review, hopefully 5 stars. If you've already done it, Sign your mom up, sign your dad up, your brother, your dog, and go out and give us a review and a like. It's one of the best ways to help us out with the podcast, for sure. So if you enjoy hearing us ramble on and talk about hunting,
Nothing and everything.
nothing and everything all at the same time. So, well, you guys have anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Nope, it's over.
Done, son.
Roll the theme music. We're done.
Jordan, sing.
You're the singer, remember?
No, Abe's the karaoke
Yeah, no.
karaoke king.
Yeah, I got to edit that portion of the singing out of the last podcast we did. So
Did you sing?
I was singing and coming back from a bathroom break, some song that was on.
Oh yeah,
And
that's right.
I was like, I'm going to edit this out.
Was it Katy Perry related?
It wasn't
It
Katy
should
Perry.
be.
I don't know any Katy Perry.
Well, hang out with Grinch long enough, and you'll learn some Katy Perry.
That's y'all's. Y'all are big Katy Perry fans. I guess I haven't duck hunted long enough to get into Katy Perry. Is that what the deal is?
There's a correlation in there.
There's a direct
I guess you'll
correlation.
find out.
Time in the field to the amount of Katy Perry you like. So we appreciate it, guys. Thanks again, Brandon,
Yep.
Austin, Jordan.
Thank you all.
Y'all be good.
Peace.